Welcome to Vision Class and welcome to this unit for mathematics and complex numbers. We are looking at combine, addition and subtraction of complex numbers, and we are now on example 4, which says z1 is -1 minus I, z2 is 8I plus 1, z3 is 10 minus 3I, and z4 is 5 plus 2I. Find part A on the solution will be z1 plus z2 minus z3 equals to, let's substitute for z1. What is z1? z1 is -1 minus I plus z2. Since it is a plus, there is no need for us to keep the brackets, so we can add without the brackets. So plus 8I plus 1. Then we are subtracting z3 minus, what is z3? Since there are two terms, this and that, we need to keep the brackets. So that we have here 5 minus 2I. It's actually plus 2I. It's 5 plus 2I. And then from there, we need to simplify the brackets. So let me keep -1 minus I the same, plus 8I plus 1 the same, minus -1 times +5, we shall have -5. 1 times +2I, it gives us -2I. And then from here we can collect the like terms. We can begin with the real parts first. So we have that, we have this, and we have that. So that is -1 plus 1 minus 5. These are the components of the real parts of the complex numbers. Then we go to the imaginary parts. I is negative here, so say minus I. 8I is positive, plus 8I. 2I is negative, minus 2I. Then this becomes, what is -1 plus 1? That is 0. 0 minus 5, it is -5. -I plus 8I, that is 7I. 7I minus 2I, that is 5I. So here we shall have plus 5 plus 5. And so going to part B, which is z4 minus z2. Going to part B, which is z4 minus z2 plus z1. We need to substitute. What is z4? z4 is 5 plus 2I. 5 plus 2I minus z2. Since we are subtracting z2 and it has two terms, we put the brackets. We put in the brackets. That is minus 8I plus 1. We close the bracket. And then finally we are adding z1, which is -1 minus I. For addition, even if we don't put the brackets, there is no difference. So we just say minus z1, which is -1 minus I. The next step is simplifying. So let me maintain 5 plus 2I. And then we have said that there is an imaginary word here. So that -1 times 8I gives us -8I. -1 times +1, it gives us -1. If you have two signs immediately after the other, one after the other, this one is positive times negative, it is negative, so it will give us -1. And then we proceed with minus I. And then from here, we need to further simplify it by collecting the real parts together, the imaginary parts together. So starting with the real parts, I will have 5 minus 1 minus 1. Then the imaginary part, we have 2I positive, so plus 2I. We have 8I negative, so minus 8I. Then you have I here, which is negative, so minus I. This here would give us, what is 5 minus 1? It is 4. Again, 4 minus 1, it is 3. So we shall have here 3. What is 2I minus 8I? That is -6I. -6I minus I, it gives us -7I. So this is the answer for. Finally, to part C, which is Z3 plus Z4. Part C, which is Z3 plus Z4 minus Z1. Let us substitute for Z3. Z3 is 10 minus 3I. Already 10 minus 3I. But I'm adding Z4 plus Z4. What is Z4? 5 plus 2i, 5 plus 2i, and then subtracting z1. Since I'm subtracting, I put minus. Z1 has two terms, that is -1 minus I. I close the bracket. What is the next step here? The next step here is to simplify the brackets and then collect the like terms. So to simplify the brackets, let me keep 10 minus 3i, then 5 plus 2i. What is -1 times -1? +1. -1 times -I is +I. We are considering an imaginary one here. Collecting the like terms, let me collect the real terms together, the real parts. There, that is 10 plus 5 plus 1. Then going to the imaginary parts, we are seeing that 3i is negative, so I'll put here minus 3i. 2i is positive, put here plus 2i. And then I, lastly is positive, so plus I. What is 10 plus 5 plus 1? 16. -3 plus 2i, it is negative I. Negative I plus I is 0. That is simply like 0i. And that gives us the answer as 16. So the solution to example 4 is, as we have seen,